Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, I'm going to be talking about a trap that a lot of beginners and people that are new to the game kind of fall into. I'm going to help you avoid this trap. Stay tuned. All right, guys. So the trap that I'm talking about is the trap of buying a oversized racket. So a lot of people walk into a store thinking that, hey, bigger the head, easier to hit. Well, is that really true? I'm going to explain that right now. But let me explain where I got this subject from. I have a watcher here, a fan. Name is Anthony Wells, and his question is about upgrading my beginner's racket. So let me tell you what Anthony wrote. So he says, I'm a true beginner in this game of tennis. However, I'm very athletic and have excellent coordination. I grew up playing high school level golf and tried to walk on as one of the top university programs in the country. However, I haven't taken any formal tennis lessons or clinics. I'm just starting tennis as an activity to do with my wife, who has some formal training, as a way to play a sport together and for the exercise. Well, that's great. There's a lot of people like that doing that, right? So I've just recently purchased the Wilson Clash 108 and strung it with Luxlon Smart 125 at 45 pounds. And I really like how this racket feels. I'm already concerned after just hitting balls with my wife a couple times that the racket might be too much of a cheat for me, as it feels very strong and I have to hold back on my swings. I'm still going to use the racket. However, I feel that I might need to update to another Clash. Really like the feel within the next 6 months or so. So I thought really like the feel within the last 6 months or so that I can improve my swing and overall game. Which Clash model do you recommend I transition into? Okay, so I'm gonna answer Anthony's question first, and I'm gonna explain why my thought process is for this. So Anthony started with a Clash 108, okay? Sounds like he's young, strong, probably pretty big guy, or normal guy. Most people of this age group or of this stature really shouldn't be going into an oversized racket. I'm guessing either the person at the store told them to get the 108, or a lot of people walk into the store and say, hey, what do you got that's big, right? That's kind of the wrong mindset to have. You do not need or should you want a big racket, because it will be too powerful for you. Let me show you something. Although Clash 108 and a Clash 100, they look really similar, right? And it's only 8 square inches. When you do this, it actually looks even more similar, right? Look at the difference here. You could tell right there the difference. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, right? But when you start swinging and striking balls with it, that 8 square inches is hard to control. So most people who come in to me who are like Anthony, I would put into at least a Clash 100, if not a Clash 100 Pro, because it's much, much easier to keep the ball in, especially if you're gonna swing. Most beginners are gonna take a good swipe at the ball, right? When that ball hits the fence, what's gonna happen? They're gonna start slowing down the swing. They're gonna start pushing the ball over because the bigger racket is gonna provide too much power for them. So it would be easier to start with a lower, smaller, powered racket. So that's why, we go with a Clash 100 or 100 Pro. I would bet that a Clash 98 would probably work for Anthony too. Just because we could dial down the power. He can learn the game the right way. Because at this point, this 108, as he says it, he can't keep the ball in the court, right? So something smaller will teach you how to keep the ball in the court and hopefully provide better technique for you. Because if you're just patty caking the ball over with the oversized, that's not really teaching anything. You're just basically, is helping you too much, let's say, right? You touch the ball, it takes off. You're never gonna learn to swing, right? Like back in the day, when you learned with a wooden racket, you really couldn't cheat. You either had to swing or it ain't gonna go nowhere. Today with technology, right, we are kind of at a disadvantage, right? If you go in and you buy a large racket, you're kind of screwed, because even if you string it at 65 pounds to try to keep the ball in, right, it's still going to launch a bit, right? We overthink that we are going to miss the sweet spot, and we think that the extra size head is going to help us hit that sweet spot way too often. We should all start with at least just get 100 square inch head, right? That's why there's so many of them out there. You got your Clashes, you got your Pure Drives, you got your Banana Arrows, you got your Ultras. There's a reason why 100 square inches is the most popular category, has the most frames in that head size, because it's a great median for everyone to start with. I definitely do not sell, a ton of 108s. I don't sell a ton of 110s. There's a reason why there aren't too many of these made, because that segment of the market is definitely slowing down. 100 is definitely, a majority of the tennis market. So for everybody out there, don't fall into this trap. Don't buy an oversized racket. You don't need it. You don't need the extra power. You'll never learn the game the right way. All right. So I would definitely recommend, if you need a light racket, get 100 light, right? If you're a big boy, get 100 Pro or 100 Tour, like a Pure Drive 100, Pure Drive Tour, right? Get the heavier ones. That'll give you extra power too. But try to stay away from the oversized rackets, especially if you're just starting the game, because you don't need the power, right? You do not need the power. Don't fall into that trap. 100 is all you need. So Anthony, your next racket should be a Wilson Clash 100 Pro. That's just kind of what I feel that you need. String it up though with, try this, Solinco Confidential, okay? 16L, 16 light, which is a 125 millimeter, 1.25 millimeter at 48 pounds, okay? Clash 100 Pro, Solinco Confidential string, 16L, 48 pounds is what I recommend for you. You will love it. I promise you. For everybody else, don't fall into the trap, okay? These are too light and too big for you guys. 100 minimum. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.